Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. Today we'll recap Monday Night Football from last night, recap the baseball from yesterday, look ahead to today. Same as soccer, WNBA playoffs. We have NFL power rankings as we head into week 3. My NFL Tuesday bet, news and notes, and my best bet for the day. All right, we'll start with Monday Night Football. We'll go over the results from last night. We had 2 games, and both of them were great games coming in, but, it was just a dud the second time. Bucks over the Texans 20-19. Bucks 2-0, Texans 0-2, and the Chargers over the Raiders 20-9. The Chargers are 2-0. The Raiders are 1-1. So, like I said, the Charger-Raider game was a dud, and then the Bucks-Texans game was really fun. Okay, now move on to baseball. We'll go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to today's games. I believe it's all night games tonight. Oh, we have a game going on right now. So that was a lie. Cubs over the Pirates 4-0. Braves over the Nats 11-3. Jays over the Rays 2-1. O's over the White Sox 4-1. Twins over the Yankees 7-0. Reds over the Cards 11-6. Astros over the Rangers 6-3. D-backs over the Giants 8-1. Phillies over the Dodgers 6-5 and 10. So a couple of the dogs I liked yesterday to win won. All right, going on right now, the Braves and the Nats. Braves up 5-2, bottom of the 4th. Oh, it's a doubleheader game makeup from May 21st. Okay, so that makes sense. So, 6:30, you have the Cubs against the Pirates. It's Paul Skeens against Cade Horton. That is an excellent pitching matchup right there. I'm just going to pull up the odds real quick. Pirates minus 136, Cubs plus 116, over under 6.5, overs minus 122, unders even money. Cubs plus 1.5 is minus 200, Pirates minus 1.5 plus 64. I'm going to go with the under 6.5 at even money. If that was 7 or higher, it would have been in play for best bet. Guardians Tigers, you have Casey Mize against Joey Cantillo. Tigers minus 142, Guardians plus 120, over under 8, overs minus 114, unders minus 106. Guardians plus 1.5 is minus 72, Tigers minus 1.5 plus 142. The Guardians need the game. The Tigers have that division wrapped up. I'm going to take the Guardians at plus 120. All right, game 2, 6:45, Braves, Nats, Chris Sale, Mackenzie Gore. Braves minus 188, Nats plus 158, over under 7, overs minus 108, unders minus 112. Braves minus 1.5, minus 102, Nats plus 1.5, minus 118. I'm going to lay the 1.5 with Atlanta at minus 102. A's, Red Sox, Jeffrey Springs against Connolly Early. Red Sox minus 162, A's plus 136, over under 8.5, overs minus 114, unders minus 106. A's plus 1.5, minus 152. Red Sox minus 1.5, plus 126. I like the over. 7 o'clock, Padres, Mets on TBS. Michael King and Clay Holmes. Mets minus 120, Padres plus 102, over under 8. Overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Padres minus 1.5, plus 158. Mets plus 1.5 is minus 192. Michael King is a plus 102 dog. I like it. So, ex-Yankees going at it. Former starter and for the Yankees and a former closer for the Yankees. 7:30, Blue Jays, Rays. Jose Barrios and Ryan Papuai. Pick'em, minus 180, over under 8.5. Overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Jays minus 1.5 plus 146. Rays plus 1.5 minus 178. I have to go with the Jays at minus 108 for their 6th straight win. Like, that, the fact that they're pick'em here is crazy. Angels Brewers. You have Freddie Peralta and Cade and Dana. Brewers minus 270, Angels plus 220, over under 8.5, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Angels plus 1.5, plus 104, Brewers minus 1.5, minus 125. I like the over at minus 105. O's White Sox. Dean Kremer against Shane Smith. White Sox minus 110, O's minus 106, over under 8, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. O's minus 1.5, plus 158. White Sox plus 1.5, minus 192. I like the White Sox minus 110. I think that's the Vegas nose line. Yankees Twins. Cam Schlittler and Matthews. Zebby Matthews. Yanks minus 156. Twins plus 132. Over under 9. Overs minus 108. Unders minus 112. Yankees minus 1.5 plus 102. Twins plus 1.5 minus 122. 2 losses in a row. Shutout loss. I think they bounce back. Run line. The Yankees minus 1.5 plus 102. With Schlittler on the mound. Mariners Royals. Logan Gilbert. Michael Wacha. Mariners minus 142, Royals plus 120, over under 8.5, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Mariners minus 1.5 plus 118, Royals plus 1.5 minus 142. The Royals are still alive in this race too. I'm gonna give out the under though in this game. 7:45, Reds Cardinals. Andrew Abbott and Michael McGreevy. Reds minus 122, Cards plus 104, over under 8, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Reds minus 1.5 plus 140, Cards plus 1.5 minus 170. I'm going to lay the run line with the Reds. Minus 1.5 plus 140. 8 o'clock, Rangers Astros. You have Merrill Kelly against AJ Blueball. Rangers minus 116, Astros minus 102, over under 7.5, overs minus 122, unders even money. Rangers minus 1.5 plus 140, Astros plus 1.5 minus 170. I'm going to go with the Rangers on the money line at minus 116. 8:30, Marlins Rockies. Yuri Perez against Kyle Freeland. Marlins minus 148, Rockies plus 126, over under 10, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Marlins minus 1.5 plus 104, Rockies plus 1.5 minus 125. I hate going in and over this much in a Marlins game, but I have to do it. Over 10, minus 115. 9:30, Giants Diamondbacks. We don't know who's going for San Francisco, and Eduardo Rodriguez is going for Arizona. Arizona's minus 130, Giants plus 110, over under 9, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Giants plus 1.5 is minus 192, D-backs minus 1.5 plus 158. I'm going to go with the Giants at plus 110. They need the game. And 10 o'clock on TBS, Phillies Dodgers. Chris Sanchez and Shohei Ohtani. Dodgers minus 136, Phils plus 116, over under 7.5, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Phils plus 1.5 minus 182, Dodgers minus 1.5 plus 150. Phils clinched the division last night, so I'm going with the Dodgers minus 1.5 plus 150. I think it's a letdown for Philadelphia. Okay, now move on to soccer. We'll go over some results from yesterday, look ahead to today. We have some big games tonight in soccer, which I would like to get to. So yesterday's results. La Liga, Espanyol over Mallorca 3-2. Serie A, Verona, Cremonese 0-0 draw. Como, Genoa 1-1 draw. And then today, we have going on right now, Athletic and Arsenal in the Champions League, PSV, Eindhoven, and Union SG. Coming up at 3 o'clock, you have Benfica and FK Karabag. We're going to be pictures all this game's on CBS Sports Network following the Union SG game. So Benfica minus 600, Karabag 14-1, the draws plus 650. For this one, I'm going to go, why are the over and goals locked? I don't get that at all. Why the over 3.5 goals is locked. So I'm gonna do both teams to score. Yes, minus 104. Juventus and Dortmund. Juventus minus 110. Dortmund plus 320. Draw plus 250. I'm going with Juventus minus 110. Real Madrid Martial. Real Madrid minus 290. Martial 7-1. The draws plus 450. Over 3.5 goals plus 112. Tottenham Villarreal. Tottenham minus 110. Villarreal plus 300. Draw plus 260. I'm going with Tottenham at not even money, minus 110. We have an MLS game tonight at 7:30. I have Inter Miami and Messi against Seattle. Miami's even money. Seattle's plus 240. Draw plus 270. I'm going with Miami at even money. Women's League tonight, we have Seattle and Louisville. How come I can't find it on like the live upcoming? I'm just going to check the Women's League section real quick. Yeah, for some reason it's not posted. All right, Carabao. 2:45. Sheffield Wednesday and Grimsby. This should be posted. Yes, Grimsby plus 120, Sheffield plus 220, draw plus 230. I'm going with Grimsby plus 120. 3 o'clock, Brentford and Aston Villa. Aston Villa plus 110, Brentford plus 230, draw plus 260. I'm going with Aston Villa plus 110. Crystal Palace, Millwall. Crystal Palace minus 270, Millwall plus 850, draw plus 440. I'm going to do under 2.5 goals at plus 120. And then CONMEBOL, Libertadores at 6. You have Velez, Sarsfield, and Racing Club first leg. I don't see it here. In the U.S. Open Cup on CBS Sports Network tonight, Nashville, Philly. Nashville plus 15, Philly plus 210, draw plus 230. Oof. I have to go with Nashville plus money at home. The Union gave up 7 the other day to Vancouver. I'm taking Nashville plus 115. In the CONCACAF Women's Champions Cup, you have 8 o'clock Carrillo and Orlando. Orlando should win that. And at 10 o'clock, you have Vancouver and Gotham. I think Gotham should win that. So there you have it for soccer. Now we'll do WNBA. So we have a couple of game 2s tonight in the W. First up, 7:30 ESPN. Dream Fever. Dream have a 1-0 lead. No Caitlin Clark, obviously, which sucks for Indiana. The Dream are a 4-point favorite. Totals 159.5. I'm going to lay the 4 with the Dream. I'm sorry. I just feel that Caitlin Clark's just too big of a loss to overcome. Ryan Howard leads the way. And at 9:30 on ESPN, Aces Storm. Aces lead the series 1-0. Aces are a 4.5-point favorite here. Totals 161.5. I'm going to take Seattle in the points. I think they potentially force a game 3. This Storm team's good. They won't go down without a fight. I think Nneka Ogwumike and company win it. So plus 4.5 and plus 158 outright for that one. Okay, now we'll move on to my NFL power rankings for the week. I'm going to do award style again. The theme of the awards is week 2 overreactions. Okay, number 32, the oh yeah, right award goes to the Cleveland Browns, who are 0-2. just lost to the Ravens. Coming up, they host the Packers. Oh, yeah, right. They're the Browns. They got their ass kicked against the Ravens. Number 31 is the Trade Machine Award. That's the Miami Dolphins. They're 0-2. They just lost at home against New England. Coming up, they're at Buffalo. And you know this is a Trade Machine team. Tyreek Hill. There's some other guys that I think they might be willing to trade for the right price, especially some of those high price guys. Maybe Minka Fitzpatrick again. They already traded Jalen Ramsey. So we'll see. Number 30, the Garbage Time Award for Week 2. The Carolina Panthers, who are 0-2, just lost to the Cardinals. Coming up, they host the Falcons. I say they're the Garbage Time team because they put up a lot of garbage time points in Arizona, and therefore they covered. Number 29, the Best Tanking Job Award. The New Orleans Saints. They found a way to lose to Mac Jones and the 49ers. They're 0-2. Like I said, they just lost to the Niners. And then coming up, they are at Seattle. Not easy. Number 28, maybe you've been the problem the whole time award. The New York Football Giants. They're 0-2. Coming off the heartbreaking defeat in Dallas. And coming up, they host the 0-2 Chiefs. And I say that because obviously Saquon had his best year last year. Now Daniel Jones is having the career year. And maybe the Giants are the problem. Maybe Brian Daboll and Joe Shane, and then before that, Dave Gettleman were the problem. But we'll find out about this one once Jackson Dart steps in. But I almost gave the Giants the most improved offense in Week 2, which they probably were, even though they lost. Because they went from 6 points to 37 points in a week. So that's very, very well improved, but they still lost. So that's why I gave them, maybe you've been the problem the whole time. And this is obviously related to Daniel Jones and the Colts the most. Number 27, most likely 0-2 to division champ. The Tennessee Titans. Yes. I say that because their division's easy. There is a arguably fraudulent 2-0 in their division, a 1-1 in their division, and another 0-2. And they just lost at home against the Rams, and coming up they have a big division game as they host the Colts. But yeah, maybe I'm too positive on Tennessee. Number 26, the biggest letdown award. That's the New York Football Jets. He has everybody's hopes up after being competitive with Pittsburgh, and they got flowers handed to them, Aaron Glenn and Justin Fields and all that, and then they have a letdown against the Bills, in which I think people had them covering the game. Like I said, they're 0-2. Next up, they're at the Buccaneers, potentially without Justin Fields. I probably should have put the Jets beneath the Giants, to be honest with you, because of Fields being hurt. I probably should have put them beneath the Giants. Because the Jets lost to Pittsburgh, or I'm sorry, the Giants lost to Dallas, reminded me of the Jets loss against Pittsburgh. It was similar, except the Jets blew that lead, and the Giants-Cowboys was kind of more back and forth. I mean, so was the Jet one. But yeah, those two games were very similar with all the offense, old quarterbacks, even though the old quarterback won against the Jets and the old quarterback lost against the Cowboys. And Wilson and Rodgers, obviously. Number 25, the I Don't Want to Hear About It award. The Chicago Bears, who are 0-2, just got destroyed by the Lions. I'm sick and tired of hearing about Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, yada yada. Look how special they are. Special my ass. They just got killed by Ben Johnson's old team. And the trash-talking Amon-Ra St. Brown, who actually performed after trash-talking. So I got to give him credit for that. But yeah, they're treated like they've done so much, but they've done nothing. They've done jack shit. And then coming up for the Bears, they host the Cowboys in what is a huge game. It would have been 2-0-2s if not for the kicker on Dallas. Number 24, the okay, if we knew that last week award, that's J.J. McCarthy and the Minnesota Vikings. I'm convinced that McCarthy was playing hurt in that Bears game. It makes sense to why he played poorly against the Falcons, too. And he played poorly against the Bears other than that comeback. So, yeah, if you knew that last week. So he's still hurt. So he's going to be out for a couple weeks. They host the 2-0 Bengals coming up. They are 1-1 right now, Minnesota. The would have been higher if the quarterback wasn't hurt. Duh, the 2-0 Cincinnati Bengals. They're in the bottom 10 without Burrow. I don't fucking care what your record is. At this point, if you have an injured quarterback, that's literally your team. Yeah. And then coming up, they host, they're at Minnesota with a backup quarterback. So it's Jake Browning against Carson Wentz. And now that's going to come down to coaching, and we know who the better coach is. That would have been a more fun game if those quarterbacks were healthy, and then Jefferson and Chase and all that. So, number 22, the You Need Some Time Award, the Las Vegas Raiders. A lot of people, obviously, they had that bad loss, and then before that they beat New England. So maybe they need some time. New coach, new quarterback. Yeah. Like I said, they lost to the Chargers last night, and then coming up, they are at Washington without Jaden Daniels, potentially. Jaden Daniels. Number 21, the Missed Opportunity Award, the Jacksonville Jaguars. How do you not win that game when Joe Burrow goes out? Come on. That's a missed opportunity. So they lost against the Bengals. They're 1-1 now. And then coming up, they are hosting the Texans. Number 20, maybe that was just a dumb loss in week 1. The New England Patriots, who looked much improved offensively in that game too. So there's a couple improved offenses. 2 of them in defeat, Giants and Miami, and then 1 in a victory, New England. But yeah, maybe that was just a dumb loss week 1 and this team's good. Yeah, they're 1-1 and coming up, they host the Steelers. Number 19, what a difference a real kicker makes. The Atlanta Falcons, who get to 1-1 against J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings, coming off that win in Minnesota. And then next up, they are at Carolina as a huge favorite. So, yeah. What a difference a real kicker makes. If that kicker kicked for them in week 1, they beat the Bucs. Number 18, the We Need to Be Careful Award. The Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels got injured in that Packers game. And they might be without him against the Raiders coming up. As the Commanders are 1-1. And, yeah, they got to be careful with Jaden Daniels. Quarterbacks that play that style tend to get hurt a lot. And that's where a lot of skepticism came from the prognosticators this season with Washington, with the injury potential of Jaden Daniels. Number 17, what a difference a week makes award. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they looked like a contender in week 1. They looked like an old flop team in week 2. So, yeah, what a difference a week makes. They're 1-1, lost at home against Seattle, and then coming up, they are at New England. Number 16, the unluckiest team so far award. This is just my opinion, the Houston Texans. They're 0-2, probably should be 2-0. They were a couple plays away from beating the Rams, and then Baker was just clutching the last seconds of that game on last night, and now all these questions have arisen about C.J. Stroud and whether he was a one-year wonder and the offensive line still stinks, yada yada. But I just think they've been unlucky. And then obviously Joe Mixon got hurt. They have some other injuries. But yeah, I just think this team's been unlucky. That's just my opinion. And coming up, the 0-2 Texans are at the Jaguars. Number 15, the Coaching Matters Award. Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers. I thought he coached Mac Jones up really good. Granted, it was against a bad team last week in New Orleans. But I think that the coaching, this is where coaching comes into play. And Kyle Shanahan's done a fantastic job so far. And they looked better than they did in week 1. Again, that's coaching. Obviously, Purdy being out is why they're this low. They would have been in the top 10 if Purdy was healthy. And then, like I said, they're 2-0, and coming up, San Francisco hosts the Cardinals. Number 14, a few plays away from 2-0 award, the Kansas City Chiefs. They should have beaten the Eagles on Sunday, and they probably should have beaten the Chargers. So this is kind of like the opposite of last year. And coming up, they play on Sunday Night Football at the Giants, and all they're going to be showing is Taylor Swift and yada yada. So coming up for, like I said, they're at the Giants. Coming up, a few plays away from 2-0. Couple of runs they could have stopped against the Chargers. A couple of plays offensively they could have made against the Eagles, but their offense was worse on Sunday than it was in Brazil, and their defense was better than it was in Brazil. So, yeah, they could have easily been 2-0. In other words, I'm not panicking over the Chiefs. Maybe if they lose to the Giants, it's time to get worried. Number 13, the Who Are They Award. That's the Seattle Seahawks. Are they the team that lost against the Niners in week 1 as Sam Darnold looked like a pumpkin? Or are they the team that looked competent in Pittsburgh? So, coming up, they host the Saints, who Seattle is going to be a popular survivor pool pick. Them and 2 other teams coming up. Number 12, the Dumbest Loss of the Week award. That's the Denver Broncos, who gifted Indy with that win with the penalty on the field goal that was missed. I've seen the Giants do that before in Washington that one year. They called offsides on, I want to say it was on Kayvon Thibodeau. They called offsides on him, and then they kicked the game winner. That might have been a night game. I feel like that was a night game. Maybe it wasn't Kayvon Thibodeau. It must have been another pass rusher. Maybe it was Leonard Williams. But I know some pass rusher they had on their team got called for offsides on the kick that was missed, and then they had the re-kick, and then Washington won. Same thing happened with the Broncos. There was a penalty on a missed kick, and then the Colts had the re-kick from 15 yards, and they won. But yeah, that's why the Broncos, to me, get the dumbest loss of the week. They're 1-1. Lose to the Colts, obviously. Coming up, they are at the Chargers, which is a hard game. Number 11, a few plays away from 0-2 award. So this is the opposite of the Chiefs, and that's the Bucs. I feel like they're lucky to be 2-0. If Atlanta had a competent kicker, that's a loss. And then I give Baker Mayfield credit for yesterday. That was just clutch. A clutch drive down the stretch to take the lead in that game. With all these injuries they've had, and Todd Bowles has to be up there for Coach of the Year. So, like I said, they're 2-0. They win in Houston last night. Coming up, they host the Jets, which is going to be another survivor pool popular pick. There's one more on the board. I'll share it. Number 10, the Week is 2-0 award. And I put asterisks by this because obviously the Bengals are the Week is 2-0, but their quarterback's hurt, so that's not fair to them. So the actual Week is 2-0. The Week is 2-0 team if Joe Burrow is healthy award, and that's the Arizona Cardinals. They beat a garbage Saints team and a garbage Panthers team. And coming up, they are at the Niners, and I believe they're favored, but that's because Brock Purdy's hurt. I mean, come on. They should not be favored in that game. I mean, that just shows you that the quarterback is like the NFL gambling people are telling you a quarterback matters more than anything. Meanwhile, coaching matters too. I mean, they were favored in New Orleans, San Francisco. If they're favored, granted, New Orleans is bad. I just think the Cardinals are overrated. That's all. So number 9 is the Indianapolis coach. The Indianapolis coach and the Colts. The reason why I'm saying coach is because my award for them is the hottest coaching candidate award, which is going to Jim Bob Cooter, who is the Colts offensive coordinator, who's really done a good job with Daniel Jones in that offense. So they were lucky to beat Denver, and coming up they are at Tennessee. I'll just say beware for the people that might be picking them in Survivor. Number 8, they easily could be 2-0 or 0-2 team. This is obviously going to a 1-1 team, and that's the Dallas Cowboys. They could easily be 2-0 if that fumble doesn't happen on Thursday night. Or, on the flip side, they could easily be 0-2 if Aubrey misses that kick and the Giants are 1-1. So, yeah. They should be 1-1. Probably, but you could make a case they could either be 2-0 or 0-2. I thought they were lucky to beat the Giants because of that insane kick. And plus the Giants got penalized too many times and their defense broke down late in that game. And then next up, they are at the Bears. Tricky game. Number 70, don't forget about us award. It's the Detroit Lions. They came out and shut everybody up. They shut the haters up that said, oh, this team's finished because they don't have special Ben Johnson. I'm so sick of hearing about Ben Johnson. I'm sorry. Especially with how Detroit performed against the Bears. I'm so sick of hearing about the Bears. That's why I had that title, I don't want to hear about it award. We had the Lions on the flip side, get the Don't Forget About Us award. And I give Amon-Ra St. Brown credit because I hate when players trash talk because that usually leads to a loss. But that was a win. A big, big win. And coming up for the Lions, they are at the Ravens on Monday Night Football. Fantastic game. Number 6, the torn plantar fascia, no problem. That goes to Sean McVay and the Rams. As McVay tore his plantar fascia, and he still coached and won the game. So that award goes to Sean McVay. But hey, the man is probably the best coach in the NFL. He has a Super Bowl on his resume and gets a lot out of guys. Another reason why coaching matters. So they're 2-0 coming up. They are at the Eagles. And I'll tell you what, they're going to be a popular underdog pick next week. But I don't know if I'm going to be one of them or not. We'll see. The number 5, the finally arrived award. It's Justin Herbert and the Los Angeles Chargers. I thought they played better in week 1 than in week 2, but their defense was better in week 2 than in week 1, if that makes sense. 3 interceptions off of Geno Smith. That's credit to their defense. Jim Harbaugh's done a good job through 2 games. So, like I said, they're 2-0, beat the Raiders on Monday Night Football. They have another division game coming up. They are hosting the Broncos. Number 4, they might not snap the streak. You're going to find out what streak it is in a second. That's the Philadelphia Eagles. And the streak I'm referring to is the NFC East has had a different division winner every year since, I want to say, 2005, 2006. So 2004, 2005 was the last time that division had a repeat champ. And they might not even snap it. Like I said earlier, Dallas can win that division. Like, Philadelphia, to me, looked fraudulent against Dallas and against Kansas City. Their offense stunk against Kansas City, and their defense stunk against Dallas. So they're very fraudulent. Like, Dallas can win that division. I don't know about Washington now with Daniels out, but I think Dallas can win that division, and they lost that game because, like I said, that was a dumb loss, and they had the fumble in that game, and if it wasn't for that, and the lightning delay, maybe Dallas wins. But at the same time, I feel like the Eagles could have blown them out if not for the lightning delay. So you could argue Philly should be 0-2. I mean, they could easily be 0-2. So yeah, my award, the may not snap the streak. Number 3, the same old team award. That's the Ravens. They blow out people, but if the game is kind of within striking distance, they blow it, just like they did against the Bills. Same old team, beating up the bad teams in the Browns and blowing games like they did against the Bills. So, like I said, they're 1-1. They beat the Browns. Coming up, they host the Lions on Monday Night Football. Fantastic game. Number 2, the Breaking the Bugaboo Award. That's the Buffalo Bills. And the bugaboo, I mean, is Josh Allen's bugaboo at MetLife Stadium. He's had some stinkers there in the past. I remember the Jets beat him outright. And I gave the Jets out as an underdog money line, if I'm not mistaken. I forget what year that was. I gave out the Jets as an underdog money line. They won outright with Zach Wilson. And then, obviously, Josh Allen had, in my opinion, the worst game of his professional career at MetLife on 9/11 that year, where Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles. So, Breaking the Bugaboo is Josh Allen at MetLife Stadium. And number 1, they're, as advertised, the Green Bay Packers. They're as advertised so far. They kicked the Lions' ass. They beat Washington, took care of business against them on Thursday Night Football. So they're 2-0, and then coming up there at the Browns. And that's going to be another Survivor Pool popular pick. And then the other one's obviously the Bills coming up on Thursday against the Dolphins. There's so many good Survivor Pool options on the board. But you know somebody's going to lose outright. Either the Packers, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Colts, the Bucs, Seattle. Somebody's going to lose outright that's going to have one of those teams in Survivor. And I recommend not putting the Chiefs in Survivor. And I recommend not putting Arizona against Mac Jones in Survivor. I recommend not trusting the Colts yet. So to me, the Survivor candidates are the Bills, the Seahawks, and the Bucs. And Green Bay, but I'm skeptical about it because they're on the road. I don't like picking road teams in Survivor Pool. So there you have it for the power rankings. Now I'm going to give out my Tuesday NFL bet. So I love doing this. Obviously, the 2 for the Thursday night game I picked last week came through. And then I had a bonus, so best bet kind of, I gave out the under in the Raider game that hit. So early bet for week 2. I am going to go looking at the lines. Like I said, there's a couple of underdogs that are sticking out to me right now. Right now, I'm actually going to go, I'm going to do Tennessee. I'm going to give up Tennessee against Indy right now. So I'm going to take the plus 3.5. Right now, Tennessee plus 3.5 against Indy is my first bet for week 3 coming up. All right, to the news and notes we go. The Warriors are eyeing big 2027 free agents as they want maximum flexibility when Giannis and Jokic could hit the open market. Fucking please. I'm sick and tired of when these living in the past teams like Golden State and Miami and the Lakers. Well, not the Lakers. Dallas now. Yeah, they traded Luka. The Lakers were that until the Luka trade. But I'm sick of it. I hope they don't get him. Maybe it's the selfish Knicks fan in me, but yeah. I hate when those reports come out. Jonathan Kuminga trade unlikely. This deal with Suns or Kings doubtful unless offer changes. The Hawks and the Nets made a trade as Atlanta sends Kobe Buffkin to Brooklyn for cash considerations. Sidney Crosby reaffirms commitment to the Penguins amid trade rumors. We talked about McVay tearing his plantar fascia during the Tennessee game. Kalijah Cansey out for the season. Torn pec, that's brutal for Tampa. Like I said, they're lucky to be 2-0 and they play the Jets without Justin Fields potentially. And then they lost Luka Diki to a foot injury in that game, but we'll see about him. Khalil Mack left the game yesterday against the Raiders due to an elbow injury. Breonna Stewart questionable for Game 2 tomorrow, as she is a GTG after tests on knee, came back relatively clean, so she's questionable, so she's going to play. The WNBA Rookie of the Year, of course, goes to Paige Beckers, who has given the Dallas Wings some hope. The NFL addresses Tom Brady in the booth. As he says he's allowed to talk to Raiders people while calling the games. Ashton Genty admits learning curve as he is still getting used to the speed of NFL after only 43 yards last night. The New York Rangers named JT Miller captain, 29th player in franchise history to earn the honor. I'm surprised they picked him. Obviously, Chris Kreider, they traded. Artemi Panarin, I think, has a little bit of a history in a negative way that he didn't get it. Tom Brady in Flag Football Classic as he announced his plans to join a star-studded Fanatics Flag Football roster. The Falcons are not eyeing a Kirk Cousins trade as Cousins' move isn't something the Falcons want right now. Obviously, it's being talked about because of no Burrow. But the Bengals do sign 2 quarterbacks. Mike White and Sean Clifford join the practice squad. Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver gaining head coaching buzz as Anthony Weaver seen as future head coach as Mike McDaniel's seat heats up. Oof. Ben Simmons is not retiring as he shuts down some rumors. Knicks signed free agent forward Tosan Evbumawan. 1-year deal, will compete for 2-way spot in training camp. We talked about the Phillies clinching the division. You would think the Blue Jays are close because they broke that division open with the Yankees losing twice and they're on the winning streak. So the Giants call up top prospect Bryce Eldridge amid postseason push. Bud Canelo breaks record as it drew 41.4 million viewers, the most watched men's championship bout this century. That's according to Netflix. So Florida State linebacker Ethan Pritchard opens his eyes in hospital as he's making progress after being shot in the back of the head August 31st. Wow. Hopefully he'll be okay. And then Yordan Alvarez injured ankle after crossing home plate against the Rangers. That's not great. All right, last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. So for best bet, there's a lot of stuff I like in baseball tonight. A couple of run lines I like. Couple dogs. I'm down to a couple. Just don't know where I'm gonna go. I do hate picking meaningless games or bouncing on them, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna lay 1.5 with the Braves against the Nationals. So I'm going to lay the 1.5 with the Braves against the Nationals tonight for my best bet of the day. So there you have it for the show, and I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything. Look ahead to everything. Tomorrow we don't have golf this week. I'll do my NFL Wednesday bet. I might do MLB power rankings either tomorrow or Thursday. I just haven't decided which day yet. So stay tuned for that. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.